Hello and welcome back. Today we are continuing our Rome run. Last episode we had a very sketchy time that I probably didn't even emphasize how sketchy it was, where we almost defaulted while fighting the German Empire. That might have been the hardest war of this entire run, but this next upcoming war might be, and we're anticipating, depending on how things go, this next upcoming one for this episode might be a bit harder. We have to keep declaring wars, we have to keep things going, despite us having truces, and okay, we humiliated them. But we noticed in the interim, Great Britain, we don't owe them an obligation, or they don't owe us an obligation anymore. I don't know if this is because the Rev won, or what exactly happened here, but they don't owe us an obligation, so they can side against us. Our humiliation on Russia is over. So Russia can join in against us on the play. France, I believe, we no longer owe them an obligation, or they no longer owe us an obligation, and the USA finally can still side against us as well. And so we now have kind of the biggest opportunity to have a bunch of people joining against us. We are anticipating at least one person joins against us, and I think we need to either declare war on France or Spain here if we want to try and restore Roman borders. So, that being said, I think we declare war on Spain because we need to take 2 states off of Spain. And so, by declaring war on Spain, we give ourselves the most flexibility in terms of maneuvers depending on who joins against us. And so I think we're going to declare war on Spain here. Our primary war goal is going to be Asturias, and then we will also, if there's any chance that they back down, which there's not, we would force the diplomatic play, but since there's not, actually let's force it because I think this makes it go... War will escalate one day faster, I think, if we do this, which hasn't been something we've been doing, but it is something to keep in mind. And this is going to be the war that we have to kick this episode off. Also, just wanted to point out, I think that in general, I've kind of been underperforming on the eco side of things in this run because it is fully 100% player-controlled queue. Normally, we can kind of just generally direct what is getting built, and then the AI will kind of fill in the gaps with the auto queue, and you will notice some stuff has just insane level earnings potential, and this would get picked up by the AI, and the AI would, build in this fashion. And so we have several more of these things coming in. We're trying to solve infrastructure problems, all this that we've put in the queue ahead of time, but I just wanted to point out that I think that eco-wise, this has been generally a kind of a struggle, and that this is probably one of the reasons why we had so much trouble last episode, was because we're really not used to the eco effects of playing with a controlled queue anymore. But this is kind of the super swimming in. So without further ado, let's get into it. So the joining has started, and we see a second one joining. The UK and the USA have joined against us. We actually don't care about giving up these war goals. Oman, that's really not a big deal. Ban slavery, not a big deal. So we can choose to try and enforce on Spain as quickly as possible, get the enforcement in, and just put all of our war goals on Spain. But I think that we might take this opportunity to go after the UK. And so if no one else joins, I think what the plan will be to do is kind of towards the end of this, we put in a whole bunch of obligations against the UK. An enormous amount of the world's economy, and I mean the entire world's economy, is concentrated in, Great Britain, specifically the home counties, Midlands, and Lancashire. So taking these will be really nice because it will split their market however it's set up, so that they will have to use more convoys, and it will also take the very most valuable states, being Lancashire and the home counties. I'm guessing these are the 2 most valuable states in the entire game currently. I think we could even just sort by this and take a look. I forget how to look at global... Is there a way to states? If we look at all the states in the game, home counties number 1. To be fair, I guess we have Piedmont and Venetia, but Yorkshire is actually a little bit better. I think taking Midlands is better than taking Yorkshire, though, despite the effects of things. Well, actually, this would cut off the top from the bottom if we go Yorkshire, Lancashire, home counties. But this is what I'm talking about. This is a plus of 75 million, and it's a weakening of the UK's 75 million. So I think that this is how we're going to be, how we approach this. Had a little bit of a think before, when the UK sided against us. And I think that this is going to be the way we approach it. So imagine this being 75 million lower and ours being 75 million higher, just off of taking those 3 states. Also, we do need to take 2 states off of Spain. So we're also going to take Galicia, which is going to leave them in a minor power where we'll have some flexibility. I think what we're going to do is we're going to ignore the USA. We've already put in some of our guys, but I think we're going to take this guy who is the USA kind of front guy, and we're going to put him here, and we're just going to look to have some guys in this HQ just to tie the USA up and not worry about them. We're going to have some guys not really looking to push too hard in Spain here. So we have this stack here. I think we're just going to put them on defend front, actually, not wanting to enforce too quickly. And then what we're going to do is the UK actually has a front with us that they share. We're going to pile up a bunch of defenders here and look to hold here while we simultaneously try and land them here. And they will, the AI is not very good at leaving armies behind if it doesn't see a naval landing coming in, so what we'll try and do is we'll try and gain control of this straight here. So we're going to take our navy, and this navy is not big enough actually. So let's take this navy, and we're going to merge it with this one. Just all the scout carriers. We also are we have a fully modernized fleet. The UK does not. We have a stronger fleet than the UK at this point. All of our ships are the very best ships. We do not have any old ships because we deleted all the old ships last episode when our economy was collapsing. And so we have an absolutely massive, kind of pool of things. So what we can do is with this, 100, it's going to be a 180 stack, I think. Oh no, it's just going to be a 130 stack? Really? Do we not have more Navy? I thought we had more Navy somewhere. Where's our... Really, just 130? Okay, we're going to occupy this with our 130 stack. I could have sworn we had more. Ooh, that's where our more was. We merged with the wrong thing. Okay. We're going to merge with these guys. Here. All the scout carriers. Because we have kind of these torpedo boat units and these non-torpedo boat units. And then we're going to take in with these guys. And we're going to have them intercept here. We're going to set to interception. Coordinated interception. Sure, we need to promote you a couple times. And then this guy, we're going to put in here as well. And we're just going to, this is our strategy for this entire war is going to be based on this. So we're just kind of fully explaining him. We're going to intercept here. And then with these guys, they're both on interception. They're both max promoted. They're also just going to sit there. So we're going to be able to wipe their navy with 4 naval battles simultaneously. One from this unit, one from each of these raider units, which are the red ones. And then 2 from this 186 stack. They're going to leave all of their units and put them all here. And then we are going to land them. They're going to send in navies. We're going to hopefully chip through the navies fast enough that we can actually get something done. Alright, this is looking to be our full war. We're going for home counties, Lancashire, Midlands, Yorkshire, Galicia. We have a pretty big advantage here. We might end up pushing here, because I don't think we're going to take it too fast with one guy pushing, and I think this will be fine. We can put one guy in on heavy barrage here. Well, do we really want to cause that amount of turmoil? Well, this is kind of the slow pushing one. Then we have, you can see, they have assigned a little bit to this front, not too much. I wish they had assigned more. But no one else, it looks, is joining, and we have assigned 2 fronts. We will get pushed on this front. We will definitely get pushed, but we're on all defense. We have trench infantry, and we have trench infantry utilizing, machine gunners, and so that's going to be a lot of defense to chew through. We actually don't want to do that. There, and you can see here, look, there's nobody here. So as soon as our navy clears them out, clears out the riffraff, we'll be able to get in. And look, they still have frigates. This is 10 offense, 15 defense. They still have these 20, 30. They have destroyers, which, to be fair, destroyers, they're okay, 30, 40. They have ironclads, which are kind of their big boys, 36 of those. This is entirely scout cruisers, which are 50-50. So our navy is so much stronger than the UK's at this point. The problem is we have to fight the UK's navy, Spain's navy, and the USA's navy. And it's not so much the power level, it's going to be, what's going to be the most inhibitive is the number of units they have, because we can churn through 4 battles simultaneously here, because we have 4 different generals, and then they're all on interception. But if they put, 12 generals worth of guys in there, it'll take us a while to chew through these, which is why we haven't yet mobilized this guy. It's unnecessary because we're not going to begin the landing yet. And so now we have our war here. Ooh, yikes. Missed a little bit on that. We're going to move someone over and hope that we can catch that before that actually gets out of hand. But we are here. Their war goals, I believe, was return Catalonia here. So we actually have to make sure that Catalonia doesn't fall. If it falls, we'll try and reland it, this type of thing. They have several war goals though, and it's unlikely that they try and land Oman while they have this going outside. But you see, there's 2 battles, and we have 57 versus, this is going to be kind of their scary stack, and the other ones, we're just going to rip right through. And so once all this gets through, none of their armies here, then we will get in for free. Ish. They will actually just bring more navies, like these navies will all converge and we'll just end up having dogpiled for multiple fights, but this is going to be kind of this opening phase here. So we are slowly getting pushed in Africa here, and slowly is probably a bit of an overstatement. We're kind of getting wrecked, but we finally cleared out all the navies from the channel. So what we're going to do is we're going to mobilize this unit finally, and we are going to begin what will be the very, very long landing in the home counties. I think we saw that one of these guys did not have enough. Yeah, let's promote you up. We, by the way, are only using 1 general, or in this case 2, or 1 admiral, in this case 2, per unit, because it makes it so that they will just use half the troops. If we had 2 units here, each guy would perform duties with half the troops. We actually want to bring all of our troops for each unit to bear, and so this is why we're only having 1 guy per navy, unless the navy's over 100, at which point 1 guy cannot manage the whole thing. These guys together, max promoted, only do manage 210. But you see here, we're starting this landing, and they are going to start bringing in the navies in. They're going to be like, no, please don't hurt us. Leave me alone. That's my sheep. And we see here a bunch of new guys come in. We can then just cancel this landing, because what they're going to do is they're going to bring a whole bunch of stacks over to fight us, to deal with us, and we do not want these stacks here. We want to get in for free, so we're just going to cancel this landing here. We're going to cancel the naval invasion. We're going to make sure this guy stays in here. We're going to make sure he stays in the channel, and then we're just going to move this guy back to France. And we're going to slowly clear out all of their navy that is in the vicinity that can block us, while trying to maintain, these fronts. We see that this front, if any of Catalonia gets kind of occupied, we'll abandon North Africa in favor of that. We also have 1 guy pushing in here, 1 hero, as it were, trying to push this little 8 stack. And so if this 8 stack gets to kind of cheese some fronts, that's okay. We want to make progress. We don't want to delete the front, though. We don't want to occupy Gibraltar, because then the UK will bring their troops back home. So us having a front with the UK is very important, because it makes it much more likely that they're going to behave in this way. And you can see all of the units are now leaving, because there is no longer a naval landing imminent, even though they're just waiting across the channel for them to leave, for all these battles to clear. The battles are going to clear. The battles are going to clear. We've churned through an enormous portion of their navy at this point as well, and their navies can't bring enough guys to bear, especially with like these 10 stacks, and so they just get rolled up real easy. Even though all together they might be able to post some sort of thing, there's no like borrowing with the navy. You don't borrow troops, and so having these really fat stacks is going to be really important for doing this. We could even consider like merging this together. The problem is we actually wouldn't be able to clear out the units fast enough. If we just had stuff under 3 generals instead of 4, we're winning all the battles. We'd rather have 4 admirals. That way we can get more battles in. But we see we cleared it, and now it's time to do another naval landing. Huzzah! These guys also, very importantly, are relatively quick, because I do believe we have railroad as our mobilization transportation thing. So this unit overall is really expensive. They kind of have all the bells and whistles, and so these guys can get there quick as well, relatively speaking. You see, they're starting to bring some fleets back. I think we're just going to stick in on this because we're expecting those fleets to kind of churn through. There's another 100 stack with all admirals that have not been defeated. Okay, well, we're going to stay in on the landing this time, because we don't see a ton of units coming back this way. Although if we see anything like a 50 stack or a 100 stack, some unit like this, then we will pull these guys off the landing, because they are what is spooking the units into coming back. The fact that there's a landing coming in, and they're like, no, please don't hurt us. You see these 33 stacks, these 15 stacks, these like all these little guys. But we are churning through the navies pretty quick here. We are fully, based here. And then down here, we do have to monitor this, keep somewhat of an eye on it. But as long as we're just right here, we're bricking their progress. And the 160 stack is kind of just doing nothing. I mean, they're making little bits of progress. They're going to win this battle. But this 88 versus the 47, it's going to be worth it for us overall, especially because they're not here. Doesn't seem like there's too many here, so we're going to stay in on this landing. We finally get our first battle coming in. Now, we have a pretty big luxury. We had so many convoys built up as a result of, you know, like, actually using them for trade and stuff, and since we became super infamous, they've really not been an issue, and it gives us the opportunity to not worry at all about anything convoy related. But we do have our first battle in, and we should just... We're destroying them. Now, if they had brought a bunch of troops back, we just bring, you know, we just cancel the landing, bring them back to France, and the point is it takes us much less time to go from France to the home counties than it is from them to go from Gibraltar to the home counties, you know, especially because we're using our railroad on our mobilization edict, and we can outmaneuver them in this way. And so this is kind of brute forcey. We do have this 30 stack here, and the entire idea for bringing the 30 stack here was we wanted to be able to do this once we had cleared out the home county's landing area. So we're going to get this guy to come on up. Nice. We can go single party state, but we won't yet. But now we're going to clear out this node so that we can use this guy to land somewhere else. Probably further up, maybe Yorkshire here, in the same HQ. Because it seems that they don't have sufficient defense or anywhere near sufficient defense, but it will take one little battle for us to clear this out before we can try and do a landing, and so we'll do that. Meanwhile, still kind of juggling guys around the fronts, but mainly just letting them chill. They are just kind of defending slowly. We are making progress over here, which is fine. We've almost occupied Galicia. We haven't occupied Asturias. We want to make sure we don't enforce on Spain, even though, because it's just going to be a little bit cleaner if we don't enforce on Spain first, if we enforce on the UK first, or at least establish a beachhead. And so this is one of the things we're kind of waiting for. Once we do that, I think we'll, you know, use these guys to perform a landing and back. There's not going to be very much they could do once we establish a beachhead, and we are kind of well on our way. We have 50% landing, so this is kind of going to be the war, and this is going to be with only these players. Like, it would have been a lot harder if we had Russia and like France in here with us, which was definitely a possibility going into this, but only with these two, and I guess Spain, I suppose, this is a pretty straightforward war. I think we're just going to let them push here. I think that'll be fine enough. But this will be 75%. Oh, we're already at 75%. So here's what we're going to do. We're actually going to take this guy. We're going to land in Yorkshire using the fleet in the North Sea, which should be pretty quick. And then we are going to take this 30 stack. And we have them on all defensive. We're going to take this 30 stack and we're going to land it in Asturias once these guys finish up the battle. And that should be the war. Alright, so let's take an eye at our GDP here. 387 million, you know, respectable, whatever. Let's see what it is once we enforce here. USA saw their way out because we didn't have any war goals on them, so they just self-enforced below zero, and which is one of the reasons why we didn't want to put any war goals on the USA. We only want to go after one of these GPs at a time, really, with our war goals when we are going after someone smaller like Spain here. But let's propose this war deal and see 386 turn into a really big number. A really, really big number. That's a gain of close to 100 million. Now, it's going to have to do some wobbling and adjusting. You saw it for a second, it was like 480. That was just for a split second. This is without us having adjusted the PMs or begin the process of incorporation, still suffering turmoil, this type of stuff. But that is a heckin' big time, a heckin' nice time, and I'm very curious where their capital's gone to. It's not in East Anglia. Was it in East Anglia? Where'd your capital go to, my guy? Where's your capital? I think it has to be in English territory, does it not? So, very, very curious where their capital went, because obviously we took that. It's in Belfast. That's awkward. We have a strictly better company upgrade from Koopas to probably the best tooling company in the game now that Wallonia is incorporated. And we're just going to kind of briefly peruse over what we have available currently, even though we can get some more stuff available. Like, we might want to put in Society Franco-Belge. In fact, I think I like this better than generic steel, which we have in, because we will have access to steel. So let's slot in Society John Cockerell, and then let's slot out our generic steel company. And instead, we are going to slot in this, which gives 5% infrastructure, which is going to be very nice because we will not have to build quite as many railroads. And so this will help out quite a lot. And throughput on railways in particular is quite nice because they don't have a lot to begin with. And so the railway combined with the 5% infrastructure, It's very nice. It's also going to end up giving us a ton of throughput between these two companies on engines, which is actually, I think, if I recall correctly, something that's a little bit expensive in our market, and so that's going to help out quite a bit. We are running a shortage of this, but this is just a consumer good, so we kind of don't care. This requires more investigation on my part, but I think that you're just not supposed to turn it on the PMs, but we have to play around with it a little bit more. So this is a case of not really caring about the war goals they have on us. We did have ourselves a little bit of a war where we annexed Croatia, and then Netherlands joined in, as did the USA, but we're winning this war. We're just going to propose this peace deal, which gives us all of the territory in the Netherlands that was once, part of the Roman Republic at its height. So, things are coming along quite nicely. Two birds with one stone. We were expecting that to take 2 wars, and instead it only takes 1. So we get into our 3rd war here. We went after Brittany hoping to provoke the French because it is right in their backyard. We're really hoping that they would side, but instead Russia sides. I actually think I made a bit of a mistake here in that I think one of the war goals should have been humiliating Russia, but we didn't put in humiliate Russia. Instead, we put in conquer this, which will completely cut, their capital off from anything else, which is going to make taking their capital really, really easy in the future. But more importantly, ruh-roh. Oh, no, wait, that's fine. We're fine with that. That's exactly what we want. But this is going to make it so that they completely collapse because they will have no market. And then we also went after Azerbaijan and Armenia because I think that the Romans held that historically. But not exactly the fish we wanted to catch, but perhaps the fish we deserved. We also went after a little bit of extra territory because why not? We are going to look to actually enforce on Russia, although maybe we end the war a little bit early. We do have landings coming in, this type of stuff from several different directions. We're expecting to get in pretty easily here. We do get in right off the bat on Brittany, so we will be enforcing down on them pretty quick. But, we don't want to be tied into a war for, forever, so maybe there's a situation where, we don't actually want to full enforce on Russia just because we can get out of the war faster if we don't, which does seem to be the case. I don't think we can side against the UK because we have a truce. Yeah, that is the case. But things are progressing along quite nicely. Probably going to delete down some of this construction, though. Look to go maybe back to 1300 and avoid having any kind of sticky situations coming on up. Okay, for a long time, internal politics have been a bit of a struggle to Brutus, but we finally can make a move because one of the reasons it's been a struggle is because we're on Presidential Republic, and we have the Industrialists stuck in for forever. But this time, the Intelligentsia won the election, which to be fair, I think that we haven't even let it tick over, so maybe the clout's going to look a little bit different. Hopefully more clout for the trade unionists on this Monday when we let it think. Doesn't look like it. Okay, so it's not going to have more clout for them, but what we will be able to do is we will be able to do this, or we would if they weren't insurrectionary. So we're just going to fake pass a law to de-insurrectionize them. A little bit of a pump fake here, as it were. They should leave being insurrectionary. I said they should leave because they're happy. They're big happy with us. They're big happy with us. Come on, please leave. Please, 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 leave now. I mean, we wouldn't hate passing this law, but we're not looking to. And now we can actually reform the government and look to pass total separation, which we've been wanting to get on for the longest time, and we should be able to do that. Now, we do have this movement to restore state atheism. In theory, these guys should be, not super mad about things, but why don't we... So we could promote this guy to government, right? No, we can't, because he's discriminated against. So why don't we exile one of these guys? I think we're going to exile the military guy. Or actually, who's mad? Just so that this movement kind of goes away a little bit. Can we exile you? No, can we... Oh, the agitator, right, this guy. This is the gentleman. Exile dissident. Just because we don't want them to agitate quite as much for this state atheism. Yeah, so now it's just going to have a 51 chance of rolling, and so we should be in pretty good shape there. And guess who's not in good shape? These guys over here. And so they should be getting proper wrecked here. We'll make sure that, yeah, we want everyone on, we want as many guys as possible on rapid advance, at least until we actually sink in. And then we're also going to, this unit, we're going to put it on defense. I forget, I don't even know where we got this unit. I guess it's from England, but it is a little bit closer than kind of our other defensive units, and we'll look to bring that guy over here. Actually, you're going to have terrible mobilization options. Alright, we'll fix that up, though. Okay, I guess I made a bit of a mistake. I could have sworn I put in Greater Poland, Lesser Poland here, but apparently I didn't, and so we're not going to be getting quite as much off of Russia. We've already enforced on Brittany long ago, but that's another war in the books, and we have a little bit of a choice here. By the way, look at that. Beautiful borders. Whoever said I do a lot of border guard. So now we have a little bit of a choice. Well, we kind of have a choice. We can back down to Kazembe, where they'll take Rome and Katanga, which is, you know, kind of non-existent and not that big a deal. And then we could also back down to the Equatorian Peasant Revolt, or, yeah, we could just capitulate here, and we'll lose a subject, but this will allow us to declare a war just a little bit faster. I'm not exactly sure what we're going to do. We're going to have a little bit of a think, but, like, in terms of, it doesn't relate to getting Roman borders, I suppose. So we decided to just back down and capitulate, so we no longer have Ecuador as a subject, really not a big deal, and we lost some, you know, colonization progress in Kazembe. Oh no, this is really not very important to us at this point anyways, because we're trying to focus on this, because I do think we can, at this point, restore, you know, Roman borders before 36, which is going to involve, at this point, we have to take Iraq over here, Georgia, we have to annex all of our subjects around here, which is going to take a little bit of time. We have to fight France at least twice. We have to fight Germany at least once, I think. I think we got to take this. I think we got to take this kind of like southern portion here. So we might even declare on Germany. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, maybe this is 2 wars here. In order to take all of it, and then like if we fight France and Germany together, that's a little bit spooky, and so, or not spooky for us, but it's like we do not want to layer truces with them while only getting 150 like or 125 war goals, right? So if we have to fight them both in one war and then we don't fight them for 5 years, that's a problem, because that means we will not get to put in all the stuff, and we need at least like 250 maneuvers worth of stuff to take everything we want from both these guys to get proper Roman borders. And so that's a little bit of a thing, so I think next war has to be either on one of them. So I think we're going to conclude the episode here. This episode was a bit of a wreckage for the UK, and it's even more so for Russia. That's the state of Russia's market here. Which is not ideal. We would delete some construction and reduce taxes. In fact, we might just reduce taxes anyways, because we have this rev brewing, but we have this rev brewing, so we can't delete construction, so that's unfortunate. But we wrecked Russia. Like, if we take a look at Russia's graph, that's not even fully realizing the negative effects they're going to have for shortages everywhere on everything, because their market is completely destroyed because it's surrounded. This is how you'd wreck the GPs. So, for example, France, we might take Franche-Comté and Burgundy. If our only goal was to wreck them, we would take this. However, this increases the chances that they rev, and we kind of don't like that, because if they rev, that might create problems. If they rev mid-war, that might create problems for us, but at the same time, we might go for this anyways, with the understanding that this is going to be the best if Germany sides in, and then maybe we can get something done. Anyways, so that's the wreckage of Russia. But we also wrecked the UK. Let's take a look at Paul Allen's graph. Yeah, that's the UK's graph. Look at that. Their GDP basically cut in half from losing these 4 states, which are worth roughly 100 million GDP. And if we take a look at our graph, it's not like we were cranking up a bunch of construction this episode. It was just basically all conquest, but plus 50%-ish or so GDP off the back of this. And so this is definitely... Now no one's scary, and we're willing to fight everyone simultaneously. I mean, what's Russia gonna do to us? Like, they have 1K army power projection. Let's take a look at our army power projection, just to be clear where we're at, and kind of review everything. Close to 30K. Russia's at 1K. Why don't we, you know, sort by prestige? Great Britain and Germany are kind of the next ones. Great Britain, they're at 12K. Okay, so to be fair, Great Britain plus Germany combined does have more army power projection than us. US is also somewhat formidable, but this is it. That's like where the show ends. What, we're gonna look at the French Republic? Come on, my guy. 61 battalions, 2K army power projection. That's like a nothing burger. In fact, these guys, they have to watch out, otherwise they would decay. You know, below being. Oh no, wait, no. They're not going to decay below being minor. But this is pretty much a roll at this point. So it's only going to be maybe 1 or 2 more episodes. I haven't decided yet whether we're going for a Mare Nostrum or full conquest. The only thing that's impeding us from full conquest at this point is it's taking me forever to record these episodes because the game speed is so slow, and part of this is our fault. One of the bad parts about going atheist is you have a bunch of, you split your pops into being a bunch more atheists, so you increase the overall number of discrete entities the game has to keep track of, and so it's really bad for performance, and so that's one of the reasons why it's really slow. But we only need we need 3 wars for Mare Nostrum, or we need 4 wars. We have to annex Austria. By Mare Nostrum, I mean we own all of the coast. Actually, we need a lot, to be honest. We have to annex so many subjects. We need to annex Occitania. We got to go after Andalusia, Catalonia. We need to annex Austria. We need to annex. We don't actually need to annex Syria, which is interesting. But we do need to annex the Ottoman Empire. We have to go after Georgia. But yeah, I think that we're firmly in the driver's seat. Here's the Roman market. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, do the YouTube algorithm thing, and have a good one.